Alright everyone, so now we're going to talk about making your works cited page. And so as you're doing this, I'm going to show you everything you need to know. So first of all, we're going to need to pull up a few things. We need to go to modules and pull up the article that we used. And so to find that, if you go down to week 1, and it's reading and discussion, should schools close for COVID-19, you can click on that and find the link to the article, or you can just Google search the article and then make sure you pull up the right one. And so it's this one right here from slate.com. So we need this article to find the information we need for our works cited page. Next, we also need to pull up our MLA resources. So since you don't have a handbook, normally English teachers will have you buy a handbook that teaches you how to do the works cited. Instead, I've given you this MLA resources tab under course documents. From the home page, you can also click on the button that says Purdue OWL, and that will take you to the MLA resources. So we're going to pull that up in another tab so that we've got this in one tab and this in another tab. Now here we have lots of useful information for formatting your paper, your works cited, and so forth. If you have a question about something weird in MLA that comes up, like using a source with 2 authors or something, this link will help you. We're going to click on how to write the works cited page. And once you get here, you can see that we have different types of sources. So there's an index here of different types of sources you might use. We have to figure out what kind of source are we using here. So looking at this article, what type of source is this? So if we go back here, it's not a book, it may be a periodical, but that's a little bit fuzzy. The closest one here is electronic sources, because this is a web source. It shows up electronically. So we're going to click, you can say web magazines, web articles. That's what this is, a web article. So we'll click here, and this will take us to the Purdue OWL website, which is run by Purdue University. This is their online writing lab, and they have very comprehensive MLA resources. So we're here under electronic sources. We need to find the type of source we're using. So once we're here, we need to go down to the right type of source. So this is not an entire website, it's just one page on a website. So we're going to go down to a page on a website and use this. We could also use the article in a web magazine, because Slate is a web magazine, so either one of those would work. We'll just go back to this one. So we've got a template here for everything we need. So we need to have the author's name, last name, first name, and so we'll start with that. So we have our author right here. So this is her last name. So on our works cited page, while we're setting this up, let's go ahead and get it set up. This will be the last page of your paper. So if you come back to the last page, and then you're going to create a new page, that'll be your works cited page. So it's on a page all by itself. Oops. And so you're going to create a title for this page that says works cited. So it should still be in Times New Roman size 12 font. Watch how I do this. Work cited. Capital W, capital C. Make sure you spell it right. Now if you have multiple sources, you're going to say works with an S. If you just have one source, you're going to say work without an S. And you should have your header here, so this should be your last page, like I said. That wasn't showing up before, but now it is. So we've got our title there. Now we're going to start our entries here, and these are going to be in Times New Roman font as well. So if we go back to our article, we're going to put our author's name. And we need to kind of check, make sure we spell it right. So there we've got that. Last name, first and middle name. And then we need, if we look back here, we need the title. Notice the title's in quotation marks, and we capitalize the first letter of each important word. So this is our title, and we're going to apply that. Even if the title's in all caps or all lowercase, you're going to standardize the capitalization and put it in quotes. COVID, remember, is all capitalized. She's got a question mark in her title, so that will go inside the quotation marks. So there is our title. Notice the capitalization. I didn't capitalize the F in 4, but everything else starts with a capital letter. Okay, after that, we need to go back to our resource here. And you can pull this up with me and be looking at it, because you're going to have to know how to do this on your own for the next paper. So I recommend actually going to the MLA formatting section and pulling this up and looking at it together with me. So after that, we're going to include the website title. And so in this case, it's Slate. So usually you're going to get that towards the top. And you'll notice that that website title is italicized. So we're going to type in Slate. And we're going to make that formatting happen. Notice after the title you have a comma, and then usually you're going to have a date for the date it was published. So this one didn't have a date, but this one does. So we need to, and notice how it's formatted, 25 September 2014, and you abbreviate the month. So we're going to do that same thing. We're going to pull this back up, March 10th, 2020. So we're going to abbreviate the month to 3 or 4 letters. So we're going to say, in that same format, 10 March, but we abbreviate it to MAR period 2020. Now if the month is April, it would be APR period. If it's June, you could leave it July. So if it's 4 letters or fewer, you don't have to abbreviate it. But if it's longer than 4 letters, you do abbreviate it. So we've got March there. Coming back here, we need to include a comma and the URL. So we're going to come up here, copy and paste this. That's our URL, so Control C. And something may happen when you do this. When you paste your URL, you'll notice the font changed to Calibri. You don't want to have a works cited page with different fonts inside of an entry. So here's the easiest thing you can do. Right click and go to your paste options. You've got keep source formatting, merge formatting, or keep text only. We're going to say merge the formatting, the middle one. So again, that was right click, merge the formatting. You can also do a similar thing if you come down here and under paste and drop this down, you can choose merge formatting. So we're going to do that. We need a period at the end of our URL. In our URLs, we're going to take out http://. We always do that in our works cited. So we'll take that out. We'll add a period. It doesn't matter if you leave the hyperlink. That's fine. But just make sure if you have multiple sources that they either all have hyperlinks or they don't. So to take out a hyperlink, you right click and just choose remove, but you can leave them in. Okay, so we've got our URL. And then a nice thing to do at the end is to include the access date. So accessed and the date you pulled it up. So if it's today, you would say, you write the word accessed. And I would say 24 APR 2020. And then a period at the end. So this has all the information we need. We also need to include the publisher. So notice here it says if the publisher is the same as the website name, only list it once. So this, they didn't list a separate publisher. But if we go down to a web magazine, I guess they don't show the publisher either. But sometimes you're going to have a different publisher. So let's go and check. You can tell the publisher by who has the copyright. So if we go down to the, sometimes you might have to click on the main Slate home page to learn more about it. And then you go down to the bottom and look for the copyright. So this is copyright 2020, the Slate Group LLC. And you don't have to include the LLC, but we'll put the Slate Group as our publisher. So we're going to put that here. So if this had just said Slate, copyright 2020, Slate, then we wouldn't repeat it. But because it's the Slate group, it's a little different. So we're going to include that. Notice the capitalization there, just like they did it. As a formal organization, we're going to capitalize the first letter of each word, usually. But sometimes businesses do different things with their titles. So in this case, that's how we want it. So we're almost done. We've got everything here, except if you go back to our entries here, you'll notice that the second line is indented and the first line is not. Same is true here. That's called a hanging indent. So we've got it double spaced like we want it. You don't want any extra space here. To create a hanging indent, the easiest way to do it is to type Control and T at the same time. So I'm just going to show you. Control plus T on a Windows computer or Command T on a Mac. So I'm going to highlight my whole entry and press those, but not the title, Works Cited. Control T, and it works. If you're doing Google Docs or Pages or Microsoft Word Online, you might have to go to Paragraph and choose Hanging. And actually Google Docs has its own process, so you just have to look that up. So does Pages, but Paragraph, Hanging, or Control T should create this hanging indent here, and then you're all set. Now if you have additional entries in your Works Cited, you'll need to look those up on the Purdue OWL website and use that template to do it. Let me know if you have any questions, but this is the general procedure here. If your Works Cited page looks exactly like this when you turn in your final paper, you're going to get full points. But if you're missing the italics, capitalization is off anywhere, if the dates are done wrong, if you have HTTP here, any of those things would cause you to lose points. So be very, very close. Pay close attention to details. That's why I showed you how to do it. I walked you through, showed you exactly how to do it. So just do it like this and you'll get the full points.